Have you ever written a character that just feels flat, like they're just going through the motions, but don't feel real? The secret is a compelling backstory because the truth is who your character was shapes who they are when the story begins. Today, we're diving into how to create a rich, layered backstory that will make your characters feel real, authentic, and unforgettable. Let's get into it. Backstory is not just a bunch of details about your character's past. It is the foundation of their personality, their choices, and their conflicts. It answers the big questions. Why do they act the way they do? What past experiences shape their worldview? What emotional wounds do they still carry? A strong backstory doesn't mean dumping pages of exposition. It's actually the opposite. It's hinting at past experiences through action, dialogue, and behavior. If we think about Batman, his parents' murder isn't just a tragic event. It's the reason he fights crime. It fuels his obsession, his loneliness, and even his moral code. Backstory should shape who your character is and why they react to conflict the way they do. So let's break down some of the key elements of a compelling backstory and how to use them effectively. Every person, real or fictional, has moments that has completely changed them. These could be big life-altering events or small, quiet moments of realization. In The Hunger Games, Katniss's defining moment is when her father dies in a mine explosion. This not only forces her to become the provider for her family, but also instills in her a deep distrust of authority. You want to identify at least one defining moment for your character that has shaped their entire worldview. Your character's backstory should also include a core wound, an emotional scar that affects how they interact with the world around them. For example, Tony Stark's core wound in Iron Man is his guilt over profiting from weapons. It's why he reinvents himself, but it is also what fuels his arrogance, his self-destructive tendencies. Ask yourself what past trauma or regret still haunts your characters. How does it influence their actions and relationships? Now, people don't just act, they act based on what they believe. A character's backstory should define their core belief system and the fears that drive them. If we look at Elsa in Frozen, she believes that her powers make her dangerous because of a childhood accident. That fear controls her every action and all of her relationships until she learns to embrace herself. Knowing what your character believes to be true about themselves, others, and the world around them helps you write more authentic choices for them. Now, one of the biggest mistakes new writers make is dumping backstory all at once. Pages of exposition will slow down your story. So instead, you want to weave it naturally through some key techniques. Now, characters rarely just tell people their trauma. Instead, the past creeps into the way they speak. For example, the dialogue, I have trust issues because my father abandoned me, isn't really realistic. That's not how people talk. But if someone asks why they never get close to anyone, a good response would be, people always leave. The second version makes us curious. It invites the audience to read between the lines. You want to show your character's backstory through the choices. If a character grew up poor, maybe they hoard food even when there's plenty. If they were betrayed in the past, maybe they hesitate before trusting anyone. In John Wick, we don't get a flashback of his wife dying right away. Instead, we see how he reacts to her final gift, the puppy. His grief is told through actions, not words. Now, flashbacks are a powerful tool, but you only want to use them if they are triggered by something in the present and they add to the scene's emotion. For example, in The Haunting of Hill House, characters relive childhood trauma at key moments that reflect their emotional state in the present. Now, you only want to use flashbacks if they reveal something new and necessary to the story. Finally, let's talk about how to use backstory to create character driven conflict. Your character's past shouldn't just sit in the background. It should create internal struggles and external challenges. Their past wounds should create emotional struggles. In Zootopia, Judy Hopps wants to be a cop, but her childhood bully makes her overcompensate, leading to many mistakes she makes throughout the film. Now, also, you want to look at their past choices or relationships and how they create obstacles. In Black Panther, T'Challa's father's past action lead Killmonger to revenge. Backstory isn't about knowing your character, it's about using their past to shape the conflict of your story. All right, storytellers, now it's your turn. Take your character from your script and answer 3 key questions. What's their defining moment? What's their core wound or emotional scar? How does it affect their choices in your story? Drop the answers in the comments. I'd love to see what you're working on. And if you found this helpful, check out our development and other courses at storycraftu.com. Hit that like button, subscribe, and keep crafting those unforgettable stories. See you next time.